Good evening from Washington, D.C. I'm Mehdi Hassan in for Chris Hayes. Today, a federal judge ordered Donald J. Trump not to speak publicly about evidence in the classified documents case brought against him by special counsel Jack Smith earlier this month. The order prohibits the ex-president from keeping or, crucially, sharing on social media the evidence that federal investigators will turn over to his legal team as part of the discovery process. Trump will also only have access to the materials, quote, under the direct supervision of his lawyers. And the judge warned that if he violates these rules, Trump could face contempt of court or other civil or criminal sanctions. Now, please forgive me while I laugh my head off at the idea of Donald Trump promising not to post anything on social media. What a promise that will be. As we all know, he has a, shall we say, difficult time keeping his mouth shut, as well as a long history of abusing and threatening judges, prosecutors, and witnesses in various cases against him. And I'm not even sure what the court really expects to do if he does reveal something publicly. Are they really going to, I don't know, indict him again? But this is where we are as the first ever federal indictment of a former president proceeds. The wheels of this case are finally in motion, and Donald Trump will be tried on 37 criminal counts. Now, the big question is, when will that happen? Special counsel Jack Smith promised to seek a speedy trial. But will that begin before the presidential election next year? With Trump the front-runner for the Republican nomination? Could the ex-president be tried and convicted on federal criminal charges before November of 2024, less than a year and a half from now? Or is it too late? The consensus emerging from legal experts is that the window has passed. As former federal prosecutor Renato Mariotti writes in Politico, quote, it would take a Herculean effort to bring this to trial next year. And Judge Aileen Cannon has essentially total control over the schedule for the trial of a man who appointed her to the bench and who she has favored in the past. As Donald Trump's former acting attorney general explained,
this isn't going to go to trial before the general election in 2024 if Donald Trump is the Republican nominee. There's no way that Donald Trump, while he runs for president, is going to be able to prepare for this trial in a meaningful way. And so I'm sure a judge is going to be very sympathetic to his requests to extend it beyond the political campaign that he currently finds himself in.
But we didn't need to be in this position, with the clock rapidly counting down in this way. We could have seen the ex-president indicted much sooner than he was, if the Department of Justice had just moved faster. Some of us said that, and we were shouted down. Trust the process. Trust the DOJ. Trust Merrick Garland. Well, according to explosive new reporting out today from the Washington Post, for more than a year, the FBI resisted opening the other major federal investigation into Donald Trump related to his role on January the 6th, while the top DOJ leaders dragged their feet. Quote, a wariness about appearing partisan, institutional caution, and clashes over how much evidence was sufficient to investigate the actions of Trump and those around him all contributed to the slow pace. Attorney General Merrick Garland and the Deputy Attorney General Lisa Monaco charted a cautious course aimed at restoring public trust in the department, while some prosecutors below them chafed, feeling top officials were shying away from looking at evidence of potential crimes by Trump and those close to him, the Post found. And inside the Justice Department, some have complained that the Attorney General's determination to steer clear of any claims of political motive has chilled efforts to investigate the former president. You couldn't use the T word, said one former justice official briefed on prosecutors' discussions. You couldn't use the T word being the name of the man who incited a violent insurrection in order to try and overturn an election and stay in office. Now, Merrick Garland's confirmation as Attorney General in 2021 was cheered on by so many liberals, many of whom saw it as a slap in the face to Republicans who had successfully blocked Garland's earlier nomination to the Supreme Court. But again, some of us at the time questioned if he was the right person for this job. And we feel sadly vindicated by this Washington Post reporting today. It didn't need to take so long to get a federal indictment of Donald J. Trump. More than 2 years into this administration, and that too for mishandling classified documents and not for inciting an insurrection. We're still waiting on the DOJ and on the special counsel to hold Trump accountable for that. History will have to reckon with whether Merrick Garland was the right man for this moment and what could have been had he and his DOJ not slow walk the investigation into Donald J. Trump.